Morning everyone, we're here, finally, transfer deadline day. We're hoping for a busy one. Will it be? Let's find out, let's get into it. Eddie Howe's press conference has just happened. He's obviously been answering millions of questions on the subject of the window, on transfers, on deadline day, PSR and Spurs, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. We're going to wait until then. We're going to give you daily uploads today as it progresses deadline day throughout. So the first news before we get into what Eddie Howe has said in the press conference came from the Mail, and that's the first rumour from today is that Newcastle are still trying to sign James Trafford. They are expected to go back in for a bid of £20 million to Burnley for the young English goalkeeper. Obviously, we had a £16 million bid rejected earlier in the summer window. Now Newcastle today are still trying to sign a sixth choice goalkeeper. Well, he's not going to be sixth choice, but six keepers in total. Obviously, we are still working on getting out Dubravka and Vlachodimos. That's why Trafford would come in to compete with Nick Pope. Then you'd have your Ruddy and your Gillespie as the four keepers. But yeah, that's the first one of today. Never mind a centre-back or a right winger, right? We're still trying to sign keepers. And I'm all right for it. I don't mind. I think Trafford would be a good signing. But obviously, we all know how much we need a defender and a winger more than a goalkeeper. But we're obviously trying to get that young goalkeeper in, as they say, as a good opportunity to sign him. I like James Trafford, but we'll talk about more of him in depth later if anything does come of that. But that's the current reports that Newcastle are still in talks with Burnley to sign Trafford, and they're hopeful that a deal could be struck here on deadline day. Again, like everything else, it relies upon outgoings as well because of PSR. So the same situation why we're not going to sign a right winger unless it was on loan, maybe. Let's keep our fingers crossed, very unlikely. Is because obviously Almiron hasn't left this window, and Eddie Howe did say in the press conference no established players will leave today. So no Trippier, no Almirons, none of those squad players will leave. It'll only be a couple of youngsters on loan, that Eddie Howe has said. Obviously, you know, Jamie May left on loan yesterday. Other ones are trying to be loaned out today. And then obviously maybe, as I said, the keepers and one or two others, you know, your Frasers, your Haydens, will try and find a way for them to finally leave. Again, on loan. Can't get any money for them. So it's absolutely screwing us in terms of PSR. But let's take a look at what all the reporters in the room described as Eddie Howe's most awkward and frustrating press conference yet today because of it all being on transfers. We're going to focus on that, not so much the other stuff he talked about. One good thing I will say is that Willock's injury doesn't seem serious, so that is good. Let's talk about what we're here for then, and that's transfers. Eddie Howe says he understands fans' frustration over the window. We're all in it together. We need one united cause, and that's a cause against everyone we're playing. What we can't do is tear ourselves apart. We're a formidable force when we're united. Eddie Howe kept on making this powerful message throughout the conference of keeping unity, of being united together in the cause of success, in the cause of trying to beat other teams and keep this going. Because you could feel his frustrations, you could feel his anger. He shared them with the fans. He gets it. But he says we are where we are, not because of the want of trying, but because of the want of the rules, because of PSR, because of not being able to increase our revenue streams too quickly to try and compete. He was asked as well, I'll jump forward a little bit here on a question at the end, very good question about were fans misled on the ambition of being number one by Yasser Ramian, our chairman, in the Prime documentary. And he said, that is still the dream, but that dream's going to take a lot longer than we thought. Himself, everyone at the club, Saudi Arabia known as, because PSR keeps on getting stricter and stricter, that it's taken longer and longer to achieve those goals and become number one. And that's where a lot of fans' frustrations are. That's where a lot of people are upset and frustrated online because we're getting told these things. We're going to compete to be number one. We're the richest club in the world. We know all of that doesn't matter because of the rules. We can't do what Chelsea did under Abramovich. We can't do what City did when they first got their takeover. It's just not applicable anymore to us, unfortunately. So it's killing us. It's killing us from really being able to push on because of those rules. Now, on that, there is still the fact of, well, we're going to spend 70 million on Mark Gahey, on one player. Why don't we just do that for one centre-back and one right winger? You know, that's where fans' frustrations are, that not signing any major signings to improve the starting 11 is obviously the cause for concern, because if we had 70 million on him, could we not have got such and such for 40 as a centre-back and then a winger for 30, or Kaiser who went to Liverpool for 10? That's where I think a lot of people are still questioning. But Eddie Howe was saying, listen, it wasn't just one player. It wasn't just Gahey we're targeting. We didn't have eggs all in one basket. We were looking at 4 or 5 different players. We have tried to sign several players, is what Eddie Howe has said. But for one reason or another, we just haven't been able to get it done. And then we're not going to sign someone just for the sake of it. Then the skill level gets diluted, and then their impact on the team changes. So you can't just make the signing for the sake of it, and they won't do that. They'll only sign players that will massively strengthen the team. What else then on transfers? Listen, with such a short time left, it is looking difficult, Eddie Howe, on deadline day. This window continues to be difficult for us. A difficult situation with PSR and attracting the right players, which can make a difference. If we can't do that, then doing nothing is perhaps the best option. As frustrating as that is, see the amount of times he uses the words frustrating and difficult throughout these quotes. There is a feeling that we have a good squad, but a feeling that there are a few areas we need to strengthen. So again, he has said that it's been a poor window. He said he can't lie. It hasn't been a good window for us. Obviously losing Minter and Anderson as well. So that's where he is. But there is a bit of positivity here. The club is still trying to sign players today. So we're not shut up shop. In past and previous press conferences on the Friday morning on deadline day, they've kind of said, "Oh, we're closed. Now it's happening. Nothing we can do. Can't make any deals happen. We're done." We're not. We're still open for business. We're trying to sell players, and we are trying to buy players until the very last hour, is what Howe has said today. He said, currently, there is still time, and there is still work going on to try and see what we can do in the last few hours of the window. Remember, it shuts at 11 PM tonight, Friday. So while there is time, there is hope. Let's keep our fingers crossed then. Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed, because while there is time, there is hope, is what Eddie Howe has said there. So he's not ruling out any potential signings. You know, he says the club, everyone is still working hard behind the scenes. It's been rumoured that Darren Eales and Paul Mitchell are at the training ground today, holding deadline day meetings, discussing targets and trying to get deals done in the remaining few hours until 11 PM tonight. We are still trying to get some signings in and to get some bodies out to balance the books, to balance the squad, and to hopefully improve us. Listen, it's been such a long old window. I'm going to be so relieved at 11 PM tonight when that transfer deadline is done. The window is closed. We can focus back on football. It's been a mad old summer, and at the minute, as it stands, we've had a few signings, but we know that none of them have really improved our starting 11. Well, none of them, to be fair. Yes, Lewis Hall's there. We knew that was getting done last year. Your Lloyd Kelly's, your keepers, your young striker, Asula. We haven't got any statement signings in. And as Howe was asked as well in the press conference, you know, how can you be expected to continue to improve, to battle for top 4 without making any statement signings? And his answer was, you know, well, it's my job as coach to get the best out of the players, that usual stuff. But we'll wait and see, people. We'll just do a quick video there. We'll do them throughout the day. If any other news breaks, which I'm sure it will, I think more so on outgoings. I'm still hopeful that we can get 1 or 2 bodies in. Really am. Maybe I'm just being silly optimistic because the sun's shining and it's Friday. But I'll keep the faith. I'll keep the hope until 11 PM tonight. And then judgment will be done. Never mind deadline day. It's judgment day. And then we'll let the feelings be known. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel. See you on the next one.